Big Boss Jock Radio Show, where the listeners encouraged to rise up, confront the U.S. government, liberate the Confederate States of America, Alamo, placed as the capital. Be part of the solution. Join up with the revolution. Analyst Assessment, Episode 9. The clip being assessed was uploaded on April 4th, 2019 by CBSN. Clip is entitled, Trump Threatens to Put Tariffs on Cars Coming to U.S. from Mexico. Airtime, 8 minutes, 2 seconds. Statement of Dawn, 3 minutes and 8 seconds. And they're bringing them back to where they came from. Analyst Assessment, computer-generated phrase. Intent is to program there as with them, back to they, makes following Bob with Bill, journey on the trip. It is quite difficult. Allocate the appropriate description. Listeners' minds instead spin, grasp for significant details. Backwards riddle, soon will pick up the fiddle. What is yet to be presented. What is easily understood will be slammed into the minds, stored in the subconscious archive. 3 minutes, 11 seconds. Statement of Dawn. That's pay. About 3 days now. I guess since there, and I was going to close the border. But before I close the border, if Mexico and we love Mexico, we love country of Mexico. So, there's the backwards fiddle. But before I close the border, and I was going to close the border, but before I close the border, so there's the backwards riddle. It causes confusion. The person needs to go to the phrase before. And they pick up, those who identify with Dawn, we love Mexico, the country of Mexico. And then they make their derogatory comment. Analyst Assessment, computer replaced rubbish. Viewer keeps going in circles, watches the candy striper in front of the barber shop, caught in a daze, proceed in a trance state, grasp to understand. So they understood part of it, and that was there with their affection for Mexico, supposedly, by versing the word love. Again, showing their disrespect for the word. Love becomes insignificant. That's not appropriate. They appreciate their neighbor Mexico. They respect their neighbor Mexico. Talk as a professional at a higher intellect. Instead, the USDIA is placing a dialogue which reduces the intellect of those who listen. And they, those who listen in turn, practice the same type of dialogue. And they infect others. The term for the sickness, dissociative identity disorder. The person is associating in the abstract, as well as in the conscious, analytical part of the mind. And the programmer, the USDIA with the dialogue, is abusing the person, bringing them back and forth, until they consciously accept the idea of whatever is being programmed. And to reinforce, they keep the dialogue in place. The person conditioned, in this case, to give up their nation. 321, Statement of Dawn. We have two problems. And realize, every time we is mentioned, it should be the United States has two problems. Then we have the fact? No. There is the fact. What's there? There is the United States and the problem. What do they have? Well, there's a fact, and then when they go to that, In this case, they get spun on we. That's the public who listens to this rubbish and accepts being brainwashed. Doesn't realize that it's a computer-generated production with a computer-generated dialogue with the intention to leave the listener brainwashed. 321, Statement of Dawn. We have two options. We have the fact that they allow. Who's they that allows? They allow people to pour into our country. So, the statement is of Dawn, which is computer generated. We have two problems. We have the fact that they allow people to pour into our country. Should be stated. The United States has two problems. The fact that Mexico allows people to pour into the U.S. territory, into the United States of America. The people are associating, grouping with the group of we, being part of ours. What's ours? The unnamed country. What country's named again and again? Mexico. Who has importance? Who takes precedence? The one that's named. Which country was that? Mexico. Instead of the United States of America. Doesn't feel good being a U.S. citizen, being stripped of one's identity. I'll read for a moment directly from the script. Any who are interested can read this same script. It's posted current date May 6, 2019 on a website named The True Conspiracy Forum. They have allowed the Big Boss Jock to post various manuscripts. The people are welcome to look at the words, compare the statements of Dawn to what's on the clip. If they don't choose to take out a pen and paper and attempt to write Dawn's words and see how wrong the statements are versed. And that, no, the performance is not rehearsed. It's computer generated. The deception put forth by the USDIA. People being brainwashed. They will not be instructed to rise up by Yankee Sam in the form of you. They're waiting for instruction. Idly waiting. Unless instruction arrives in the form of you, they don't know what to do. That's the population of the Yankee USA. Conditioned to the computer-generated dialogue. Incessantly instructed in the form of you and what they're to do. And before they act, they again await instruction in the form of you. It's not going to take place on the Big Boss Jock radio show. People need to think logically and will be instructed how to understand the English language in another way, the way it used to be spoken, back before the computer-generated dialogue, and how used to behave a U.S. president. The people have forgotten. They just roll along, don't mind. They're about to drop off, go over the cliff. Loss of nationhood, loss of citizenship. The nation, no longer in existence. Don't take lightly the breakup of the U.S. territory. Do not allow the takeover. 3 minutes, 29 seconds. Statement of Dawn. We have to stop them. Border Patrol's been incredible. ICE has been incredible. Law enforcement has been incredible. Analyst assessment. Use of we is inappropriate. Intention is to program. Statement should have been. Illegal migration arriving into the United States needs to be halted. In assisting with this effort, U.S. Border Patrol has done a commendable job. Also noted to be commended, U.S. immigration customs enforcement, well as U.S. federal to local level law enforcement. All should be commended in their effort to secure the U.S. southern border. 3 minutes, 33 seconds. And the people are accepting. We have to stop them. Border Patrol's been incredible. Border Patrol is the U.S. Border Patrol. Every country has a border. Has various borders. North, south, east, west. Every country has immigration policy. Border Patrol. Enforcement. Becoming another of the community, Yankee. No longer a U.S. citizen, just another of the people, person in the group, term we. Minute, 3 minutes, 33 seconds. Statement of dawn. And the other problem is drugs. Massive amounts, large amounts. Most of the drugs, much of the drugs coming into our country come through the southern border. Why is it, listener, if the U.S. president, the population is duped, one part thinks that the president is a patriot due to is a self-proclaimed nationalist, so can be perceived as a Nazi, due to a color is ascribed to the term nationalist. Well, someone who practices nationalism also practices patriotism. Why would they advert from the usage of the name, the entity, which that leader is the head, the chief, the commander? Omit saying the United States of America through the southern border. The southern border. I could name 12 countries. They all have a southern border all the way to Antarctica, and there's, maybe a couple more. Whose southern border? The southern border, our southern border. Where's our southern border in our country? And who are we? Part of the people, another of us that exist in our country. Three minutes, 46 seconds. Statement of dawn. In all different ways, much of it where we don't have walls, the wall is under construction. By the way, large sections. Analyst assessment. In all different ways. Computer place. Make appear as if is ignorant the U.S. president. Dawn's statement began with a reiteration named again the second problem. Statement should have began, traffic of contraband takes place in various forms. Much is traffic transported directly across where barriers aren't placed. Wall is non-existent. If it verts from saying the U.S. border. Because what should be said from the Commander-in-Chief is that traffic of contraband takes place in various forms along the U.S. southern border. Much is traffic transported directly across where barriers aren't placed. Wall is non-existent. That's what the leader should say, who represents the United States of America. The USDIA computer-placed dialogue with the intent to rob the U.S. citizen of their nation. They went. You, the public. I used the term you, so I'll go back. I'm not confused. I know what to do. I stay with the tune. Didn't pick up the fiddle. Interpreting the riddle. And looking at the lines, well, I'll just stay calm. With the fury that I harbor inside, it is getting quite tiring, understanding there's a subliminal code. And the people, they can't understand past instruction in the form of you. Though I will refrain. And yes, I was another who often used the term, you know. No, I don't know. Yes, I do. I know who I am. I know Did they know? Well, they'll find out. And I avoid saying the word you. Try to. Listeners ought to also. Not associate in the abstract. Yankee Sam grabs a hold of their mind. Each time heard is the word you. A one only God, He's right here inside. He helps me with the rhyme. I do give my thanks, along with gratitude, for a one only God. This is the Big Boss Jock, momentarily signing off.